Hello, ladies and gentle ladies. Welcome back to another Industria development stream. Hello, Basti. Welcome to the stream. Today, we're going to be continuing working on the UI library for Industria. And yeah, I think we're just basically going to continue where we left off last week. I have done a little bit of work since. So specifically just getting kind of everything in order. I've also worked quite a lot on the screen stack as well, so you can now stack screens, which is nice. But yeah, that's all good, and that all seems to work. And I also added a test mod as well. Admittedly, that was a pain in the ass to get working, but I can now run the test mod and we can actually start testing things. So yeah, today I don't exactly know the plans for today, I will be honest. You're very quiet. Am I? I shouldn't be. It's the same volume I was at last stream, but I can check. Let's see. Okay. On YouTube, load please. Okay, I am a little bit quiet, you're right. Interesting. Okay. Let me just have a look. That's probably why. If I do this, that should be better and not too loud. Let's see. I think that's a bit better. Also, Minecraft's way too loud. Let's turn that down. Somewhere about... We'll go there with Minecraft. That's really loud for me, though, admittedly. Let's turn this down. So, master volume. Let's put that, like, 50. And then let's put music, like, 30. There we go. That's a little bit quieter now as well. We don't need Minecraft to be loud. If I got Corona of a Hightail server, so I'm fun. That's nice. I personally have no interest in Hightail, but that's nice. Cool. Okay, so what's going on over there? Yeah, so this is the screen. Nothing special. It's just a screen, as you would expect a screen to be. And it's just a center panel. So it goes center X, center Y, and then it's 280 by 140. Obviously, we can change this to like 200 by 100 or something. We can't hot swap that because I didn't run in debug mode. But yeah, that's it. So obviously nothing special here. This just adds a panel, which is basically just a parent of a bunch of widgets. So nothing too exciting here, but this is a good baseline. And then, yeah, the next thing to do, I think we can start adding some layout components. So, for example, some kind of like VBox, basically. I don't know if I want to call it a VBox. Probably not. I think I'm just going to call it like a vertical alignment layout or something. If we run that now, let's see. Yeah, that's smaller, of course. But yeah, I think some kind of VBox would be good. And then obviously we can add a HBox after. And then after that, it'll be a scroll pane that we do. And then from there, I don't know, probably tabs, because having a tab pane would be lovely. That would obviously help a lot. And then, I don't know, from there we'll start to figure out other things like the sliders and whatnot. But for now, this is going to be fine. So, okay, let's work on a vertical alignment, I think would be the best way to go. So let's create a new class. I'm going to call this a TR I don't know if I want to call it a vertical alignment. It's quite long, right? If I'm calling it a TR vertical alignment layout, that's quite a long class name. I could just call it vertical layout, maybe. But I think that's not necessary. Well, no, I guess that's fine, actually, isn't it? Vertical layout. Yeah. So, I don't really know how I want to do this, but I think I want this to be a widget, I believe. Yeah. I mean, obviously, we could have our own class, like a layout class or something. But the problem with that is, that kind of just gives us a bunch of issues doing that. So I think we just have it be a widget, right? So if we extend, I mean, I guess we could have like a TR layout class that extends. Actually, that's probably the way to go. Let's do that. So let's create a TR layout, and this will just extend abstract as well. This will then extend a TR abstract widget. And this will have our super constructor. That's fine. It's not going to have a component, so that's just going to be component.empty. Okay. And then let's also close the game whilst we're at it, because that's no use to us anymore. Okay, so then we want to have some kind of method to like lay out the children, right? So some kind of public abstract void arrange children. Now question, are the children, yes, they are protected. Okay, so that's fine. And these obviously just have a position because those are normal widgets. So that's fine. Yeah, I mean, that's basically it. I don't think there's anything else to it that's going to be anything crazy. We'll probably want to call that in init. So if we override init, then we could just call arrange children. I think that's fine. Yeah. That's fine. So then this will just extend that. It will take in the constructor and obviously the methods as well. Render widgets, I actually kind of don't want to do anything in. I don't think we even need to do anything in there. So therefore, I think we can just override that in here and just not do anything. So we can just say no. Why are you complaining? Don't know, to be honest. Also, I kind of hate that this is not tick delta every single time. So what it might be nice to do, I guess we can't name it. Okay, we'll just have to put up with that then. Because if we overrode it, then it wouldn't be abstract. I guess it doesn't necessarily have to be abstract, but I think it's fine. Question, where is this being used? So this calls render children. I see. I see. Okay. Okay. Right. So, I mean, what should ideally happen here then is render children should actually be inside of render widgets. And then that way, what we can do is we can actually just override render widget in here, which can call render children, right? Tick delta. Okay. Is that correct? Have I done that right, or have I done that wrong? So that would mean we need to look at the panel, see what that does for the panel. So that means that the panel should really just call here super dot render children, or super dot render widget, I guess. Yeah, because we want that to happen afterwards, which is fine. Okay. Good. So that's fine. This is fine. This is now fine. And then we don't even need this in here anymore because that's done by default. Lovely. Okay. So that just calls arrange children. I don't think anything else needs to go on in there. That means we don't need that in here. Update widget narration. Now, this is also probably something we want to do actually in the layout class itself. So, I don't really understand how this method works, I will be honest. But I think we can just add, if we do, I guess we actually don't want to do anything in here, right? Because it's just a layout. Like it shouldn't be narrated because it's just a layout. So that's fine then. Okay, lovely. So we've shortened this down a lot. So, yeah, I mean basically this. This should be tr abstract widgets, but apart from that, this should also be get x, and this should be get y. But that is it. I think that's all that should do. Yeah. I believe so. So, I mean, we can obviously try that. That may not be perfect, but we will see. Okay. Only problem I see with this, though, is the widgets are still going to have these X, Y positions being passed into the widget specifically, right? Even though those are just going to get overridden here. Okay. Which is a problem. So maybe we should make it so our widgets don't actually pass that in to the constructor here. Right? So just by default, maybe these just go 0, 0. But then in some of these, so for the panel, for example, we'll still actually pass those down. So that'll do those there, but then it will also do set position X, Y, right? I assume set position is fine. Would that be a correct assumption? I think so. I think that's fine. And then, yeah, so that means those can still be passed through the panel constructor. Because the panels are a little bit different. Those obviously need to have specific positions. But we could then have it so that a panel maybe has to have a layout, possibly. Rather than a panel having a... Yeah, I think if we make it so, rather than a panel having some kind of like just list of widgets, maybe it just has a layout. And then the layout has the widgets. And that way, actually, TR Abstract Widget wouldn't even have children. But is that a good approach? Should I guess they shouldn't have children by default, right? I guess we want some kind of class that extends a TR abstract widget that has children. Though this just is children, right? Oh no, I guess there are other things. There's inits, there's tick. Okay, yeah. But a lot of this is just children related. So, hello Aleatorio, welcome to the stream. Okay, in that case, let's change this then. So we have a TR parent. Yeah, let's just call it... Do we want to call it that? Yeah, I think so. So this will just extend TR abstract widgets. Implement methods. This will still be abstract though. So it's not actually going to have that. It's just going to implement that. And then this will just have the children and the parents in here. Like that. This stream has and will have so many clippable moments. It probably will, yes, because we're going to be talking about children and their parents quite often. Oh, actually, init and tick are all... Okay, no, those are fine, but we can sort those out in a second. So these need to go into here. Okay. Right, so that's the problem now, because they don't have parents. So actually the parent still needs to exist within the abstract widget, like that. And I just need to make sure that in here, like this, will also still need to be in there. And then all of this as well. Yep, all of that needs to go into TR parent. Okay, and then a couple things. So tick and init now need to be methods inside of the abstract widget. So we'll have init and we'll have tick like that. And then these will just override those. Okay. That's fine. This needs to be... I don't know if we should maybe use child.getParent here. I think that's probably... Oh, we can't. I see. Well, this can be getParent, but... Yeah, technically not necessary. It doesn't really matter, I suppose, but... I would prefer to do it like this. So then we can do getParent, and then... Only problem is the parent will need to be a TR parent. Otherwise, that's not going to work. There we go. And then that means that the parent... Wait, I need to change that here as well. So then that means that the parent now can get the children. Okay. Child.tech. Yep. These, I think, are all fine. All fine. Okay. So these, by default, will just be no ops. We'll just plonk them in there. But we don't want them to be abstract, because maybe you don't need to override them, right? But yeah, those will be overridden in here. So init will obviously init all the children, and then tick will tick all the children. So that's fine. Okay, so that means that does a CR panel need to be a parent? No, because a panel needs to have a layout. So what we'll have is we'll have a protected... We'll make it final, I think. I don't think the layout should be able to be changed. Or should it? I guess it could be. Sure, it could be. So we'll have a TR layout. And that'll be the layout. This will need to be passed into the constructor. So we'll take in the TR layout. And we'll set layout. So, yeah, that's fine. And then we do set position. It's a weird order. I actually not a fan of that order. In that case, let's set those first. Sure, that's fine, I guess. And then this will be... This will render the layout. So if the layout is not null, then it renders it. If the layout is null, that's kind of an issue, but that's fine. We can figure that out. Render panel, I don't think needs to exist. I don't know why that's even there, to be honest. I don't... That was obviously called, I guess, in the actual screen. So let's figure out where and why that's called in here. Yeah, this can just be render. That's fine. Yeah, but I mean, that should have done that anyways, actually, rather than anything fancy. So that's good. A couple issues in here. Yeah, so all of these are going to have to take in the TR layout. And yeah, I'll just have to update all of those. So in there, this one, and this one. Okay, and then basically we can just do this. Oops, like that. Okay. Nice. So that fixes that. That fixes all of the problems in here. Okay, only other thing is we're going to want to... I'm thinking this should probably be a TR parent. And then the layout should just be the child, I think. Yeah. I'm trying to think, is that what we want to do? Yeah, I think so. So this will actually just do, if it's not null, yeah, it sets the position, width, height, sure. Yeah, so these don't need the X and the Y in here, because those are going to be managed, so that's fine. Okay. That sets the position. Can we do just like set size? Yeah, we can. Okay. Because I'd rather do that then. So there we go. What's this? Height negative font dot line height -4. I don't know why it's done that. Oh, I see. To take into account the title at the top, I think. Yeah, okay. That makes sense. I will just do that here then. So this can just then be this dot title y plus font dot line height. Sure, +2, sure. Okay. Do we want to do that actually? I'm just trying to think, is that a good idea? I'm actually going to say I'm actually going to say no. Let's not do that. We can do the magic. We can do the position. That's fine. That would just be X and Y. And the width and height can be like that as well. But I don't think we actually want to do anything else. Okay, so nice. So that means we don't need to do this now. And instead, we can just call super.render widgets. Like that. And yeah, super.inits. That's fine, I think. Let's put this up here. So that adds it as a child, which means that all the rendering, all the mouse clicks, all of that will be just passed directly through. That's fine. This will be a TR layout, which now needs to be a TR parent, right? So it doesn't need update widget narration anymore. And it instead just calls init. And I think that's basically it. So now in here, oh, that is needed now in there though. Interesting. So in that case, we do still need this, and we just need to not do anything, right? These, yeah. So this isn't taking an X or a Y anymore. That's just not necessary, and so that becomes significantly simpler. Yeah, and then this just needs the layout passed through, right? So we just do a new TR vertical layout. Now, as a matter of fact, this kind of doesn't need a width or a height either. Yeah, it kind of, yeah, it really doesn't need a width or a height, because the width or the height should just be the parent's width and height, right? So in a TR layout, we can just super 0, 0. And because those will automatically be set anyways, so that's fine. What is widget narration? For the narrator to read the text? Yes, I believe that's what it's for. Though I'm not 100% sure, because I've never tested it or anything. This should be public as well. We don't need to call the super, right? We can just get rid of this constructor. So now this is actually incredibly simple. But obviously, we might want to maybe have a constructor where we can pass things in. So what we might want to do is just pass down some TR abstract widget, which will be the children. And then just add them all. Does add child do anything funky, by the way? Oh, it actually does. Okay, in that case, we also want to use that in here. Add child. There we go. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure what it does. It's like it just wraps it in a bunch of like narration stuff. So I don't know. Not the kind of thing I think most mod devs do anything with, to be honest, but it's still here, so okay. Alright, everyone, we are back. I apologize about that. Okay, so what I've been doing in the meantime is I've created a wrapped widget class, which I'm just using to basically as a delegate class. And that would just mean that we can add like normal buttons and stuff without having to, you know, recode buttons from scratch. We can just go ahead and wrap one. So that's what I'm doing. I'm just overriding all of the methods that are public, basically. And yeah, I mean, that just kind of solves all of that for us. So on drag that. This one is actually protected, so that's fine. We can just ignore that one then. I think. Yeah, I'm not sure what we do about the protected ones. We'll see. Mouse click as well. We'll do that. Basically doing all the public ones, which may work, it may not work. I'm not entirely sure. But only way to find out is to test it. So you can do Control O. Yeah, but that won't tell me what ones are public and what ones aren't, which isn't helpful. So or does it? Is that what these mean? Oh, it is. Okay, I see. Okay. No, shit. Why did you do that, bro? Okay, let's try again. I will be right back. Alright, we are back again. Okay. So let's keep selecting all of these ones. This is probably not the best way to do this. But here we are. Oh my god, there's so many. Yeah, this cannot be the best way to do this. Because it's gonna take forever. I'm just trying to think, what are we actually even trying to achieve? I mean, effectively, we wanna... Is this what we even want? You know what, let's just scrap this for now. We can come back to it later. For now it's fine though. Let's just make a fake widget that we can test with, right? So let's call this like test widget or something. So tr test widget, sure. Which extends tr abstract widgets, and then it will do that. We're not going to worry about narration. Okay, let's just do Sure. Okay, fine. All this widget is going to do is just going to render the text. That's it. That's all it will do. So we'll go graphics.draw string. We're going to use this.font, which we don't have. We don't. Interesting. Don't know why we don't have that. Let's have that, please. So we want a protected final Minecraft is equal Minecraft client dot get instance, and a protected final font is equal Minecraft dot font. Okay, and then that allows us to just use this dot font, and then we can pass in get message, get X, and the color. Sure, we might as well pass in a color, so int color, and then let's have a private int color, and then do this dot color is equal color, and then just pass in this dot color. One key bind you should get used to is alt insert. No, that is my only answer to that. Simple as that. How do I do this? Output dot add narrated title, I think is what we want, right? And then just this. What does this do? What hello? Why can I not go into it? Hello? IntelliJ? Oh, it's on my other monitor. I was so confused. Okay. There you go. So that's fine. Int color. Why are you complaining? Because that can be final. Sure, but let's make it so it can't. Not that it really matters, because this is obviously a temporary class, as I said, but this is fine. And then what we can do is in here, we'll just pass that in. So we'll pass in a new tr test widget. Let's actually call it what it is, shall we? Oops, not like that. tr text widget. So the width is, yeah, we actually don't want to pass in the width and the height here. So the height will just be this.font, which we can't access. Of course we can't. Minecraft.getInstance.font dot line height, and then this will be Minecraft.getInstance.font dot width of message. Now, question: can we actually do this here? Minecraft MC, we can. Okay, good. So, okay, perfect. So then we can actually just do font, and we can do dot font, which just saves us a little bit of work. So do font, and then we can just do font. Okay. W Java 25, man. W. Okay, so that basically will sort out the width and the height for us, so we don't have to figure that out. The width and the height won't really matter anyways, but it just saves a little bit of time. So then all this needs is, first of all, for this to be public, as it says. And then let's actually also make this a variable. And then let's just do a like for I loop or something. So I is less than like 20. Let's add child, and sure. Let's also maybe do some more random colors or something. So let's do like I don't know, what's a formula that can make it change based on I times, sure. Don't really know what that will do, but we'll try it. Layout, okay. Like that. Should we try it? I think let's give it a go. I think it's not going to work, I am going to say, but it might somewhat work, right? Something might work. these are hexadecimal numbers. So this would be like almost black, and then this would be like dark gray. Okay, so let's see what it does. We should, in theory, have a bunch of text just layered vertically, but maybe not. Yeah, so we actually don't have anything, funnily enough. Okay, interesting. Don't know why that's the case. Let's go into the vertical layout, and maybe I wonder if it's this. Maybe? If I do F9 again. So if we look here, the Y is 70. So currently, obviously, the children, I assume, don't have Y values. Would that be... Yes, they don't have any values at all. What about the X value, actually? Okay. Interesting. So, I mean, that's just going to set all of the positions, right? So if we now go into the children, the first few will have positions. Correct. Okay. In that case, let's look at this and maybe just see if this is running then. So it does seem to be running. Now, if we look at this.x, that's 113. Okay, I wonder where this is being called though. So in render widgets, which is being called where? In render children inside the tr parent. Okay, which is being called back here. Oh, I see, because that's going to go through all of the children. Right, so we need to go back to like... Because that's just going to go to the next child. So we want to go to maybe... here. No, because that's that one. This is child.render. That's render children, which is called in the panel. Okay. Can I jump to this? There isn't a way to do that, huh? Interesting. How much convincing would it take to get on Hightail? A lot. You'd have to pay me to do that. Because I'm not paying for Hightail. Simple as that. So... Also, even if you paid me, there's no guarantee I would play it, because one, I don't have time to play friggin' Hightail, and two, I would not enjoy it, so you would be wasting your money. But you know, who said to play? Well, why would I ever buy it to not play it? That doesn't make any sense. I'm not gonna mod it if I don't play it. That's so stupid. That's like the dumbest shit you could ever do. How am I gonna fix this? What I'm gonna do is more content. I mean, not really. Like, I have enough content if I wanted content. I could go back to tutorials whenever I want. I just don't have time to do that. I have bigger priorities than that. That gets you to here. Where are we here? So that does that, and then that renders the panel. This is kind of weird, you know? Because to me that suggests everything is actually rendering fine. I'm gonna try... Yeah, so if I... That's not really gonna work. Maybe it's off screen. No, it's not. I think it might be behind the background though. Wait, I mean it shouldn't be, but I think it might be. So if we go into the panels render method, which is somewhere, if I comment this out, interesting. I mean, the other thing, we don't even know if the panel title works, do we? Oh no, it doesn't work. Look, because I actually have set the title here, and very clearly, it's not drawing it. Maybe it's this, then. Maybe... I mean, it shouldn't be, but, like, maybe grabbing the font that early just doesn't work for some reason. I can't imagine that could ever be the case, though. But clearly, this isn't working, right? Yeah, I mean, the font exists. Oh, I know what it is. They added alpha to font colors, didn't they? I think we have to do now FF before it. And we'll have to do the same thing here. So this will be FF. This will be FF. Is that right? Nice. Okay. Lovely. So that's worked. And that's kind of what we wanted. So those all stack vertically, as you would expect. Now, next thing I'd like to add is some padding. I think that would be nice. So... we're going to want some kind of like... And basically at this point we're copying JavaFX, but I'm just going to call this insets. Actually, we'll just call it what it is. It's padding, right? And that's going to be a record. So that's going to have a float, top, right, bottom, left. Top, right, bottom, left. Okay, that's fine. And then we've got an all, we've got a vertical and a horizontal. Yeah, that's fine. That's perfectly reasonable. Okay. Admittedly, though, I am going to make some static methods for these, just because I think that will be easier to understand. So I will change this to all, for example. I will change this to... Yeah, of is fine for that one. But this one I like to call all. Though maybe that's a bit inconsistent, but I think it's fine. So then I can just have a private or a protected, I should say, padding, and then we can pass a padding in here. So I think let's do padding, and then let's make a constructor that doesn't have that and just pass in 0 padding. So then that would just be this padding 0 children, which is fine. And we just need to make sure we obviously set that there. And then we're also going to want a set padding as well. And that will just also arranged children. Now, we only want to do that if it's changed, though. So we can have padding original. Yeah, and then basically what we want to do is if original does not equal padding, then we arrange the children. And then that means that in here, all we want to do is we want to do x plus padding dot left and current y plus padding dot top. And it doesn't like that because we've provided floats. Is that because the padding I made floats? Yeah, these are just meant to be integers, not floats. There we go. Boom, 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 boom. All of these. Nice, okay. So that should work. And then current y plus equal that. That's fine. I mean, this can just be this, right? No need to do anything special there. And then we can just do int left x is equal that, and then we can just pass that in, which saves a little bit of, it's like a micro optimization, I guess. It saves doing that calculation every single time. For this specific layout, I mean, that's not really going to do anything, but always nice to optimize whenever possible. Let's also change this to 10 so that we can fit them all in, because right now we can't. When we do a scroll pane, obviously that'll be fine, but yeah, for now. I don't think we can hot swap this, but let's try. It says we can. I don't think it's worked. We haven't set any padding. That would help, wouldn't it? I think if we try to set padding, it won't work, but we can try. So, oh, the game crashed. Okay. Yeah, it obviously didn't like that. So what we can do is just do padding.all. Let's give it an all of 10. Like that. Okay. So if we run that again, I don't want to run like that. I want to run in debug mode. Why would you ever use a compact source class? Because, I don't know. To be honest, I would never personally use one. I think it's more just for like if you're doing like simple programs, like scripts. Really, it's more of like a if you want to write like Python like programs rather than Java programs. You know. If you want to write a quick script that does X, Y, Z, and you don't want it to be a full-fledged program, then you're not necessarily going to need a whole main class and a whole, complex main method with all these arguments. You just have a void main and that's it, right? I think that's basically the reasons. Because any complex program is going to use those program arguments, right? You're going to use those string args. So I think it's more for that. Okay, this is fine. So that has actually set some padding. Let's just see if we can hot swap this to like check. So if we do 5 there and reopen the screen, yeah, nice. So now that's 5 from there. Now, only problem is obviously that's not going to actually do 5 from the bottom, right? Or 5 from the right, because our layout just doesn't care about that. Now, what it might be nice to have, actually, in the vertical layout is to have, like, a protected Boolean, like, inverted, right? Where it would basically just do the opposite. Now, is that easy to do? Well, kind of, yes. I think what we can basically do is say, inverted, then well, yeah, this whole thing really. So we can do inverted, then that, get height negative bottom, or padding dot top, plus the y. The left x will obviously be the same, and then the current y will then just become inverted. Yeah, that's fine. This, we don't have like vertical spacing, but that's something we can do in a second, of course. Yeah, so then that means that it will actually minus if it's inverted, otherwise it will do plus. That's fine, that works too. I honestly was just going to use an if statement, but that does work too. Yeah, I think we should have spacing though. I think that's probably a good next shout. So we're going to want a protected int spacing, and yeah, I mean, we're going to want a way to set all of these as well. And it might be a good idea. I don't know, actually. I think maybe not passing padding into the constructor and instead passing spacing into the constructor. Or maybe just not passing any of it into the constructor and having setter methods. I think let's do that, actually. Yeah, let's do it that way. Let's not pass any of it into the constructor. Now, I have also just realized that if padding is null, obviously this is going to all throw an error. So it might be nice to just set padding to padding dot 0, of which we will rename to none. Do you ever make Java docs for your stuff? So if it's in a class and you hover over something that uses the method, it shows a Java doc? Sometimes. But most of the time, no, because I don't need to. If I needed to, then I would consider it. So that basically solves all of that, right? And then we can just have our setter method. So we can have a public, and we'll return ourselves, I think. So let's return ATR vertical layout, set inverted. Let's return set spacing and set padding as well. This should just take in padding. I don't know why it's trying to do anything fancy there. Like, what are we doing? Hello? It's already defined? Did I? Oh, yes, it is already defined. Oh, right, yes. Yeah, okay. We do want this to be more of a builder method, I will say, so we can return this at the end. Once again, probably worth doing the same thing that we did here. So Boolean, original, set that. If it's not that, arrange them, else return. Or return the self regardless, right? That way we're not doing unnecessary arrangements. And then we just want to take into account that spacing here. So we want to add the spacing when we multiply. And that's basically it, right? I think so. So then that means that here we don't have to do anything. And instead we can just do set padding dot all 5, and we can also do set spacing to like 2, right? And we can even do as well set inverted to true. And I strongly doubt we can hot swap this. I reckon it will crash again, but let's try. Oh yeah, it's lagging. It's gonna crash. It's definitely gonna crash. Yeah. Now, is that because I did something wrong, or is it because... I assume it is because... Cannot invoke padding equals because original is null. That's true. Well, okay, one thing we do want to do, so if padding is equal null, then we'll just say padding is equal padding dot none. And then I mean, original should never be null, though. List dot padding. Like, that should never be null. I don't know how that actually happened in the first place. Also, let's move this, or let's move these two so they're in the right place. But yeah, I don't know why that would have been null in the first place, to be honest. I also admittedly don't really want that to be a constant. I would rather just have a public static padding none. Like that. And then we can just do padding dot none. I think that's a little bit easier to read. Very minor, but easier to read nonetheless. 1 second. I'm just going to check. I feel like my freaking Amazon parcel has still not arrived. I've been waiting for it for ages. Oh, it has. Never mind. My Amazon parcel has apparently arrived recently. And I haven't seen it yet. Interesting. Good to know. Oh, by the way, guys, I probably should have said this at the start of the stream. Today's going to be a little bit of a shorter stream than usual. Because I do have a pretty bad headache at the moment. So, I'm not planning to stream for a long period of time. Same will probably be true with tomorrow as well. So, don't expect a long stream tomorrow either. This has worked, right? I think so. The only thing is this hasn't taken into account the height of the first child, so this will also need to be minus okay, one thing we can do actually, first of all, if children is empty, just return. And then I can just actually use yeah, on the first iteration we want to bump it up basically. So I guess I just have to use a for I loop. So if I do a for I loop and I say if I is equal 0, then we can say if I is equal 0 and inverted, then current y will be minus the child height, basically. So if I hotspot that and then reopen, nice. So they now start in the correct place. And let's just double check if we get rid of like inverted, for example, that will correctly, yeah, that'll be fine. If I set the spacing to a bigger value, nice. Okay, so that all works. That's all basically what I was looking for. So let's do let's bring that back. So set inverted true. Actually, we'll do set inverted false, just so that's fine. Let's also change the padding around a little bit. So let's do vertical 5. Let's do horizontal. No, let's do vertical 10, horizontal 5. Okay, maybe more than that. So 15. Other thing I want to do is I want to pass in a boolean. So this dot drop shadow And we can have a private boolean drop shadow, and then just pass those in like that. And then in here we can just pass false, because it looks kind of shit, to be honest. So if we can't do that, but we should be able to build, although I don't think it's going to work. I think it's going to crash again. That has actually somewhat worked by the looks of it, which is interesting. And I just want to make the panel have an option for that as well. So protected boolean drop shadow title drop shadow is equal false, and yeah, just have a way to set that. We actually don't have a way to set any of these, right? Okay, so let's generate some setters. So generate setter, and yeah, basically all of those. Okay. Okay, and then yeah. So if we build that again, this one's probably going to crash, I imagine. But once again, we can try. Oh, we're not using it. We should probably use it. So do that. Nice. Okay, lovely. Let's also just fix this again. So we'll do. I've done vertical 15 there. Is that after changes? No. Okay, nice. Yeah, okay, so that's basically all of the things I wanted to get done there. Let's just put these down here. Okay. Yeah, so next thing is basically do the same, but with a horizontal layout instead of a vertical one. And it should be very, very similar. Like effectively exactly the same. I am tempted to even have an intermediate class, like a I don't know, I want to call it like a TR linear layout, maybe? Could be a good name. Actually, I'm gonna do that. Let's do that. A TR linear layout, which will extend TR layout, and we're going to implement arranged children. We're actually not going to implement arranged children because this is going to be abstract. And yeah, then we're just going to take all of these. We'll take those out. We'll go into linear layout, put them in there. Then we're going to go back to here. We are going to take this constructor, put it in here. Okay. Then we're going to go to the next. So all of these are basically going to be the same. And obviously these are going to return the correct class. We can get rid of those from there. And then all this needs to do is this just needs to now extend TR linear layout. Boom. Now we are going to want this constructor actually in here though. So let's just make sure that that's a constructor that can be used. Yeah, lovely. So that's all of those. And then I am going to want some getters as well. So let's also generate getter and just get all of those. Nice. So yeah, let's just copy this. So copy that, let's paste it, and let's do a tr horizontal layout. And effectively gonna do the exact same thing. So this will become the top Y. This will then be padding dot top plus get Y. Then the current Y will become the current X, and we do get width. We do this dot padding dot right. We do this dot padding dot left, and then we can do get X. Basically, just flip the entire thing around. This needs to become get width, and these need to be swapped. So current X, like that, and this just needs to be get width. And that's basically it. So, not too bad whatsoever. Yeah, I am just quickly gonna also swap these around just so it's a little bit easier to read. So we have X before Y, and that's consistent. Now, in theory, chat, what we should be able to do is we should be able to have a layout inside of the layout. In theory. So even, in fact, we could turn this into a TR horizontal layout, right? We could have a padding dot all of, say, 5 and a spacing of 10. And then we could pass in, so we could, like, have this loop twice even, right? So, for I is less than 2, we create the column like that. And sure, we'll do this. The color, we will just... I want to randomize the color, but there isn't an easy way to do that, is there? Let's see real quick. I mean, we can probably do that ourselves, I guess. It wouldn't be too hard to generate that method, right? I'm just trying to think, because I guess we basically want to randomize a number, because if you think about it, right, hexadecimal colors are just numbers at the end of the day. So we effectively just want a random number, right? Is that right? If we go from like if we went from like 0x FFFF, is that right number of Fs? Is it basically if we have like a full white color and we just add 1, right? So it becomes 0x100000000, then we can generate a number between like what 0 and that, and that would basically give us a random color, I think. I think so. Let's try it. So if we do thread local random dot current. In fact, do we have access to an actual random here? I mean, we have this dot Minecraft. Technically we can get the level and then get a random. I suppose. So if we then do a next int between 0x1, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, right? Is that wrong? That's too large? Have I done too many zeros? So if this is alpha, this is R, this is G, this is B. That doesn't work. Do I have to do a long then? I guess? Oh no, wait, we don't want to do it that way, because that will generate a random alpha as well. We actually don't want a random alpha, so I guess we get rid of 2 zeros. And there's something with this? What does that do? I don't remember what this does. What the pipe does. I don't know. But that might work. Maybe. I guess we can try it. I mean, let's first of all var this random and put it up here, because there's no point complicating anything. And then, yeah, that just adds the column to add child. Yeah, I think that's fine. Should we try it, chat? I think let's give it a go. Worst case scenario, it doesn't work, right? So, we actually don't want drop shadow, though. Just tell it not to use drop shadow. This looks weird. I think this will work, though. Okay. Now we wait. So I guess we're testing two things here. We're first of all, we're testing three things, actually. We're testing, one, can we have layouts inside layouts? Should be able to. Don't see why not, but we're going to try it. Second thing, we're testing, does the horizontal layout work? Once again, should do, but we don't know. And then three, it does our random colors work? I think, once again, it should do, but we'll see. So random colors has worked. I don't quite know what's happened, though. It's a bit weird. Why is it up there? So this is our layout. That kind of says to me that so it's obviously the I'm curious. Does the maybe the init method is not propagating? I wonder. So if we go into here, because the arranging happens in init, right? So it's called super.init. But maybe what it needs to actually do, now that I think about it, and I think this does actually make sense, is it needs to arrange beforehand. Is that right? And then I'm just trying to think, because and super.init, which is just child.init, and the child would be like. Only thing I'm wondering. Actually, no, I think that should be fine, because then what that should mean is that should mean the horizontal will be done first, and then the two verticals will be done. Whereas before, I think it was doing the two verticals, going back, and then doing the horizontal. Yeah, I think. I think that's what it was doing. So I think this should now work. So if we build that and hop back in. Nice, so that has worked, but what hasn't worked is the positioning. It also has crashed. That could be why the positioning didn't work too. But I mean, let's just quickly have a look and see if we can figure out why. Like, it could be an issue that is actually in here, and I just missed it. With negative right would be inverted. That's correct. Or the left. Yeah, because if you want to start at the left plus the x, that's fine. And then we know the y is fine, don't we? And then current x will be minus equal child width. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think this should work, but let's try and see. Maybe what actually, now that I think about it, what's probably happening is the... Okay, I know what's happening. So the problem is the width of the vertical layout isn't the width of its children, I think, when I think it should be. That's probably what's going on. So if we run it again, yeah, it has done the same thing. So what I think we need to do in here is we also need to calculate the width. And we should certainly like use the children to do that. So I'm wondering maybe in here. I don't know exactly how we want to do this. We are just calling arrange children. Okay, first of all, one thing I think it would be good to do, this isn't really necessary, but I think I would like to make this collections dot unmodifiable list of the children so that they can't be modified, because we only want to be able to add a child like this or remove a child like this, otherwise it will break. So just ensure that that basically returns an unmodifiable list of the children. In fact, I'm even going to do the Java FX thing and actually do children unmodifiable like that. It just means that here this will have to be .children like that, but that's fine. That's far from being a problem. Yeah, so here the width is obviously just passed in, but in the layout here, we just set the width to 0. Now, in theory, the parent should calculate the width of its children, right? Isn't that literally what we coded, or did I imagine... Did I imagine that? I feel like I remember doing that, but maybe I imagined it. Okay, well, either way, we want another method here. So we want a public abstract void. Well, I guess we could do int. Sure, we could use int, and we could do the same with height as well, actually. That's fine. Well, no, we kind of don't want that, actually. Yeah, we kind of don't want that. What we want is... like some kind of like a let's do void calculate bounds, and let's just pass in like two basically two objects that we can set the value of, right? So basically like two atomic integers. That's obviously not ideal, but you know, later on maybe we could pass in a bounds object or something that would make that a bit better. Because obviously we can't set these because, you know, if they were integers, we couldn't just set width equal to something. That wouldn't work. Because they will be copied. But by doing this, that will allow us to set the value of the atomic integers. The other option, I guess, is to use an array, but I think that's kind of cringe. So we won't do that. What we do want to do, though, in here is where we have arranged children, we actually also want to calculate bounds. Now, do we want to do that afterwards, though? Just trying to think. Do we want to do that before or after we arrange the children? Well, let's think. When do we want to calculate the bounds? I guess we do want to arrange the children first, right? Yeah, I think so. Or, well, the only problem with that is the arrange method would therefore not be able to take in the bounds. Like it wouldn't be able to use the actual width and the actual height. So that's actually not going to work. We will have to calculate it first, therefore. So we can have var width, var height. We can just pass in the current width for now. So we can just use this dot width and this dot height. And then we can just calculate those bounds. And then basically just set the size to be those. And where's that again? That was in here. I'm gonna create a protected void calculate and set size, which effectively just does that for us. There's actually no point in me passing the width and the height in there, is there? We can even just do this, can't we? We don't have to give it an initial value because it will just do that for us. So that's fine. Yeah, the value is just an int, so by default that's fine. And then that way, basically in it, we just call calculate and set size. And in all the subclasses as well, where we use that. So in here, for example, before we call arrange children, we want to call calculate and set size. And we just want to do that here as well. So calculate and set size. Nice. And calculate and set size. The other thing we want to go ahead and do, in fact, it might even be nice to make this our own maybe like update method or something. That's probably a good idea. So let's do that too. So let's even go, let's go tr layout again, and let's create a method. So extract method, let's just call this update, and this will be protected. And we can even call this update contents. And then we can also say in like add child, for example, this will actually add the child, added, and then we update contents, return added. We can then do the same in remove child as well. And then also clear. Clear is not actually a thing we have, interestingly enough. I'm surprised. Yeah, it's actually not a thing we have. Let's make that a thing then. So void clear children. Now, actually, I think let's just do remove all children. And a better way to do this would actually just be to do children dot for each this remove child, which just means that that method will be called for all of them. So that's fine. Yeah, you can go. You're not needed right now. And yeah, that means we don't have to override clear children or remove all children in here. We have update contents, which is fine. This maybe should be final, I'm thinking. And then in here, update contents is what I have on my clipboard. Why do I have that on my clipboard? Because all of these can be update contents. That's why. So let's just call update contents for all of those. Nice. Okay. And then next thing we want to just quickly do is we actually want to override those methods, of course. So calculate bounds. That's gonna, so total width padding left plus padding right. Max height is equal 0. Max height is equal if it's not empty, the width plus is equal to spacing times children of size. That's fine. Actually, that's actually perfectly fine. And then we just want the exact same thing in here, which hopefully it will do the exact same thing in here, which it has, I believe. Right? Actually, oh no, it has, I think. It's just a bit confusing because obviously they're swapped around, but I think that is exactly the same, which is good. Yeah, okay, nice. Whilst we're here, I guess we might as well also do set drop shadow. Nice, okay. I think that's always set to true. True is redundant, apparently. Oh, I see, because that's passed into the constructor. Yeah, okay, so that's no need to be passed in there then. Okay, lovely. So that should now be correct. I don't think we can build the project. I think this is going to crash the game, but we'll give it a go and we'll see what happens. It actually has worked, surprisingly. I'm quite surprised, genuinely. I didn't think that would work. Let's do 10 vertical, 5 horizontal, like that. Nice. And if we do that again, nice. And the colors change every single time as well. Nice. Can we do 5? Nice. Lovely. So that is our horizontal layouts and our vertical layouts done. Now next will be scrolling then. Scrolling gets a little bit more complicated. I think we probably want to actually do a slider widget first, rather than jumping straight into a scroll pane, because obviously a scroll pane is basically going to have a slider. Like a scroll bar is basically a slider, right? So that's probably something we want to do, I imagine. And then yeah, from there we can obviously figure things out. But I'm pretty happy with this. We have spacing done, we have padding done, we can invert it. We have horizontal layouts, vertical layouts, we have panels. So, I mean, it should be trivial even to just add a new panel, right? Hopefully. So if I literally, I mean, obviously I haven't tried this, but if I just do add panel, right? Um, so this actually returns a TR panel, which we can use, right? So this is the center panel, and we can just add a new panel. So we can add, I don't know what this is. Oh, because it wants a layout, right? We don't actually want a layout, but we can just do a vertical layout, right? Then we can pass in x plus width plus 10, y, 100, 100, right panel, right? And in theory, that should just add a panel on the right. Should we try it? Yeah, boom. Look how simple that is. That's very, very simple. Obviously, in the future, it might be nice to have this panel be customizable, so have like custom backgrounds. Would be nice. But apart from that, I mean, there isn't much else to say. Yeah, we're also going to want at some point, as I mentioned earlier, we're going to want a way to wrap vanilla widgets, so we could just put a button in there. Right now we obviously don't have that. I think I am actually going to keep this text widget though. And the reason being is because otherwise it's kind of a pain to actually have text in there. We can't just do graphics.drawString. Once again, in the future, it might be nice to have like a renderable widget or something, like something that just renders. Maybe might be a good idea. We could call it like a TR render area, maybe something like that. Okay. Well, I'm gonna go for another 10 minutes chat, and then I am gonna end early, as I said. I probably would. So yeah, let's go for a little while longer. Then, hello Alex, welcome to the stream. And yeah, what can we even do for the next 10 minutes? Don't really know. But I'm sure we can find something to do. First of all, I'm going to commit some things to GitHub. And also, I think probably publish the repository? Because I don't think I've actually done that yet. And I kind of do need to. So, let's add existing repository. Choose, and I'm going to try and find... Why are you ending early? Cause headache moment. So I'm not gonna stream for longer than I think is necessary. That is why. Oh, it's not a repository. Okay, that's fine. We will create one then. We have resources. 1 second, it's in here. I have a description somewhere. It's not a great description, but it's a description, so that's better than nothing. The other thing also is that we actually don't have a license. Or like we do have a license, but it's not the right license. So we can get rid of this one because that's not the one we want. We actually want LGPL. We can't choose 3.0. I hate that you can never choose 3.0. You can't use a GPL 3, can you? Is that right? Can't choose AGPL? I think it's probably fine. Right? 1 second. I feel like you can't use AGPL. AGPL 3.0 license. Because it's not relevant, I think. Yeah, I think so. I think we can't use a GPL for Minecraft mods. So the other option, oh, right here. Oh no, that's just normal GPL. Fuck. We want LGPL though, but there's only 2.1 here. I don't know what 2.1 is. I'm used to using 3.0. In that case, let's just not set a license, and we can actually just create that on GitHub itself rather than through GitHub Desktop. Would be the easiest way to sort that out. So we'll just create that like that, and then I can publish. Oh, you guys actually can't see this, can you? But that's fine. And then publish. Okay, so that actually just didn't work. It just hasn't worked. This is crazy, bro. It just hasn't done anything. Fetch? This is the right folder, right? No, it's actually gone ahead and created a new folder. Bro. Locate. Yeah, this one, please. Let's select folder. Okay. Let's try again then, shall we? Thank you. Git, let's just not to do what I wanted you to do. So what I will do then, kind of pain in the ass actually. Well, we can what we can do is we can add existing repository. I know what we can do actually. This is fine. I can select folder. Here we go. Add repository. Create. So that one. I'm gonna put my description in. Okay, and then if I do create now, then oh my god, it's not working. Like it's actually just not working. It's just refusing to add this as a Git repository. Bro. I don't know what to tell you guys. It's just been weird. We can do it through IntelliJ, or if not, we can do it through command line, I guess. But I actually might do it through command line because I don't like using IntelliJ to do Git stuff. It's very weird. Okay, let's do it through command line. So what we can do is we can first of all stop the game from running because that's no use to us, and then we can do git. Can I just run git? Will that tell me if this is a git repo or not? I don't think it is. So if I do git init, nice, and then if we do git remote add origin and get the git repo. I'll just need to find github.com/getreal30/tabula rasa. Okay, and then if I just do this, I don't know if we need to do .get on the end or not, but we can do that. And then do get. I think at that point I should be able to add it as a Git repo in GitHub Desktop, but we can check. Select folder, add repository. Okay. Oh, yes, one thing very important. Let's do Minecraft. Nice, so that gets rid of all the jank that's living in there. Yeah, okay. So if I go ahead and just generate the commit. Initial project setup. Sure. Yeah. Okay. So if I commit those, we should be able to. Now that's done master though. Ooh. Okay, let's undo actually then. And we want to bring these back to main. Cannot access I before initialization. Excuse me? Get. So okay, if we stash get, how do you stash with command line? Isn't it just get stash? Get stash with CLI. Get stash. I don't know if you just do. I think it is just get stash, right? Oh, you need an initial commit to do a stash. That's so cringe. Oh, how do we even hmm. Because what branch are we on? We're not on a branch. Okay. Well, that explains it then, doesn't it? Okay. I've fluffed it up a little bit here, haven't I? What I could do then is I could just publish to the master branch and then just merge the master branch into the main branch and then just delete the master branch, which is not ideal, but it'll work. Yeah, let's just do that. And then we can just, I always forget how you do merging. I forget which way round it is. I forget if you have to merge from the branch you're currently on or from the branch you want to merge into. I think we have to get checkout main, and then that's probably gonna break a bunch of shit, isn't it? Oh no. Probably shouldn't have done this with IntelliJ open. And then gets. Okay, actually, since we've checked out main, we can delete. What are we good to do since we're here is delete get attributes. Because that's like the one main file that's like gonna fluff it up otherwise. There you go. I'm sure I'm not doing this the most efficient way, but it should work, so it doesn't really matter. And then I think we want to rebase. Not that I think it really matters, but oh, it doesn't like that. Have I done that the wrong way around, or why doesn't it like that? Let's see what it says. Accept current changes. Save. Continue rebase. Continue rebase. Okay, I'm kind of scared. And now I feel like I've broken something. Can we do a get log? Right. And what's it trying to push right now? Okay, it is trying to push that. So I think that'll work. No, overwrite root history on origin main. That's fine. Right. And then that means that's gone through. The original commit is gone. And then we can just delete the master branch. We can just delete this branch on the remote. Yes. You can probably do that through CLI, but I don't know how you would do that. Okay, and let's just check that's still in there. It is good. Okay, and then get branch. Yeah, and then you can also do get branch. There is dash dash list, right? Yeah. Okay. Okay, that's fine then. So if I now go to GitHub, nice. So that's in there. It does say there's a build failure though, which is interesting. Oh, interesting. Interesting. So the build is actually failing, because this is still set to use 21. Nice one, Fabric. You forgot to update your friggin' uh GitHub action scripts. That's fun, isn't it? Okay. Uh, fix GitHub action script to use Java 25. Nice. Push. And then that should trigger a rebuild on here, which it has. And let's just check that builds. I mean, once again, no reason why it shouldn't, but yeah, it is using the Microsoft JDK though, which is kind of cringe, but it is what it is. Whilst that's running, I'm quickly gonna just create a webhook to use on the Discord. Need to grab my phone so I can actually do this. Okay. Because I need my good old two-factor authentication code. Okay. And then JSON, and then send me everything. Okay, now I need to go to Discord. I need to go to the Industria channel. And webhooks, copy URL. And then paste it in. Add. Okay, boom. Webhook done. Has the build completed? Nope, so the build is still running. But it's about to complete, and that also means we should see it come through on Discord. Would that be correct? Yes, we have indeed. There you go, chat. So we now have that coming through on the Industria channel as well. So that's lovely. That's basically it. And I think we are now going to go ahead and end the stream here. I will be live again tomorrow, and we will be doing Railroad. But once again, it's probably going to be a shorter stream tomorrow as well. I mean, we'll see. I can't say for sure right now, but we'll see tomorrow. But yeah, I'm going to end it here, and I will see you all tomorrow. Good. Bye.